Welcome everybody. Today we are going to be learning how to make Russian leaves. This is a versatile pattern that has been done by many in various renditions. I'm just going to show you the basics of it today so you can incorporate it in your designs. You can switch it up a little bit. All those fun things, but I thought I'd start off with just the basic design of the Russian leaf because they really is a very elegant thing to make. A couple of things to note about the basic Russian leaf is that basically what we're doing is we're creating a V and bringing it together at the very top to create this lovely form, and you can't go wrong with that. Today I'm just going to turn it into earrings. You can easily turn it into a pendant. You can change up the size by using different bead sides, adding a few extra rows and so forth. So you have a lot of varieties that you can do with the basic Russian leaf. So why don't we go ahead and let's get started, and let's have some fun. So before we get started, let's talk about what we're going to be doing. We are going to start in the very center here, where the V is in the very center. And we're just going to go up one side. And then we're going to take our tail and go up the other side. And then go through the leaf itself for reinforcement. And we're not going to tie any knots with this project. So kind of the rule of thumb is it depends on the stitch I'm doing. Usually for, let's say, right angle weave, netted things, I tend to do half knots. And things like peyote stitch and so forth, where I can weave in and out several times, turning direction, I will do that and then cut off my thread. So it just depends on the stitch. Now this is using the peyote stitch, which is the most common way to make these. You can also use, I think you can also do St. Petersburg and do a wonderful Russian leaf as well. So there's a lot of different things you can do, but this is just the very basic. And with the peyote stitch, like I said, you can go in and out and turn directions, and that's a great way to end your thread. And I only do that after I finish my reinforcement. Okay, this is if you're going to do it, let's say for earrings, you're not going to have a lot of stress, but it does give it a lot of structure to go ahead and reinforce your stitches. So I highly recommend doing that. All right, so thread wise, and by the way, we're in this particular case, a couple other things I want you to note about this project is as we go up on our sides, we're going to increase the top and decrease at the bottom, and we'll add these little accent beads. It just adds a little flair to it. Sometimes less is more, and that's definitely true with the Russian leaf. So, you know, this just adds a nice little flair to it. So as we go up, we'll increase, and as we go down, we'll decrease, okay? And same thing with the other opposite side. All right, so what we're going to do is you take your thread and needle, okay, and you want your thread, and this is going to be more than plenty, but this will allow you plenty of thread to go ahead and do your reinforcement. And what you want to do is you want to take about one full wingspan and a half, and a wingspan is from one tip of the arm to the other tip of the arm. So go ahead and do that. So you want one full wingspan plus half. And then put your stop bead halfway through. Because remember, we're going to use the tail for the opposite side. So you want plenty of thread on the other end. Alright. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off with our peyote stitch. And if you're not familiar with this, I am trying to work out a schedule where I can introduce just the basic peyote stitch. I got a few things I have to take care of first, but we'll go slow here, so you'll be perfectly fine. If not, just wait and I'll have that video out soon. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off with, and I'm only going to be working with 3 beads here. I'm working with the 11 seed beads and the 11 Delicas, and then for this little section here where we connect at the top, those are going to be 15-ohs. The reason why I like to use the 15-ohs, it's so easy to just add the ear wire to that, and it just makes it a lot easier. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with one 11 seed bead. Then we're going to pick up 9 11 Delicas. After those 9 Delicas, we will pick up one 11 seed bead and one more 11 Delica. And what we're going to do is I'm going to turn around. So the bottom 3 beads here that we just put on, the last 3 beads we put on, the Delica, the 11 round, and the Delica, I'm going to skip over and go through the following 11 Delica. Let me just get a little closer. There we go. Alright, so now we're going to start up our basic peyote stitch. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be increasing at the top and decreasing on the bottom. Now our first row going up, we aren't going to do an increase, just like on the opposite side, we won't do an increase for that first row, but thereafter we'll do an increase. So what we're going to do is start off with the basic peyote, picking up a bead, setting along the side a bead that we skip, and going through the following beads. So I'm coming out of here. I'm going to pick up a bead, put it alongside this bead, skip it, and go through this bead. And then I just repeat that all the way up, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm picking up a bead. I'm going to set it alongside this bead here, because I'm coming out of here, and I'm going to go through this bead here. Just like that. And I kind of tug over to this side just to make sure the thread sits on this side, and I use my fingers to kind of guide it. There we go. So it'll create this little pattern where one bead is sticking out, one bead is sticking in. And that's basically what the peyote stitch is. So I'm picking up a bead, I'm coming out of here, right above the ones that I just added. So I'm coming out of here, I'm going to set another bead alongside this bead and go through the following bead. There we go, just like this. And I'll use the thread, my fingers, to make sure the thread sits on the opposite side. There we go, just like that. And again, I'm coming out of here, picking up a bead to sit along here, and then going through here. So just like this. Just like this. There we go. And then I just kind of slide the thread over to this side. and use my fingers to guide everything. Alright, so we're adding our last bead. So I'm coming out of here. I'm going to set a bead along here, and then I'm going to go through this around 11-0. And again, this is the, on each side of this, we aren't going to be doing an increase. So here I'm not going to do an increase, I'm just going to turn around. So, but first I'll put on my last peyote stitch. There we go. And I'm just going to straighten things out to make sure things sit next to each other. There we go. Just like that. Now to go down, since this is the one and only time, I'm not going to do an increase. I'm just going to go straight down. I'm going to go ahead, and again I'll do this on the opposite side, but for now I'm just going to do this on this side. I'm going to pick up 11-0, go through, and this is where it gets easy. Once you've done your first 2 rows, it becomes easy for the peyote stitch. I'm just going to go through the sticking out beads. So I'm going to add 1 bead there, and I'm going to stop short of going all the way down to do my decrease. So I'm coming out of this bead here. Whoops, there we go. I'm coming out of this bead here, and I'm just going to go through the next sticking out bead. There we go. All right. I pick up a bead. I'm coming out of here. I'm going to go through the sticking out bead. There we go. And I continue that. Whoops. I continue that all the way down, except for I'm going to stop slightly short from completing them all to do my decrease. So I'm going to come out of here, go through here. Whoops. There we go. Now if we look to see where we're at, you'll see that we have 1 more sticking out bead, but we're going to skip that, and we're going to do a decrease and turn around. So we're going to pick up a 11-0 round seed bead, or accent bead, and then 1 11-0 Delica, and repeat, going up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through this sticking out bead up here, and then go up. Now as we go up, we'll do our increase at the top. So let's go ahead and do what we did before, and we can go all the way up because we know we're not going to be any short. If anything, we're going to do our increase. So it's just like we were doing going down, we're going to go up. Now normally I turn this around back and forth to make it easier for me to bead, but I thought it might be easier for you to follow along if I kept it in one direction. There we go. And here we go. Now, after this, we'll do our increase. There we go, just like that. There. So to do the increase, you're going to pick up 1 11-0 Delica, 1 11-0 round seed bead, and 1 11-0 Delica. All right. So go ahead and slide those beads down your thread. All right. And what you're going to do is that, you see the 11-0 Delica that you first added? We're going to go through that and just hold that in place and slide your thread down. And sometimes this will work, sometimes it won't exactly, but we don't have to worry too much about this. If it doesn't sit correctly at the top, we'll fix that when we come back up for the next round. But try to get it all straightened out beforehand as much as possible. At the very least, make sure the Delica and the round seed bead are sitting next to each other. If it doesn't want to sit just right with the Delica on the outside and the round, don't worry about that, because we'll fix that when we come back up, okay? So don't force things. We'll fix that when we come back up. All right, so I'm going to do another decrease with you. All right, and we're just going to do the same thing as we did before. Coming out of one bead, sticking out bead, we're going to pick up 11-0 and then go through the next sticking out. The peyote stitch is a really nice stitch. It makes, you know, it's fairly simple once you get comfortable with it. There we go. It's one of my favorite stitches. I have a lot of favorite stitches. And again, we're going to stop short from the last one. So here we have our last sticking out bead. We're going to skip that. Pick up our accent bead, the 11-0 round seed bead, and then the 11-0 Delica, and turn around and go through the next sticking out bead while going up. There we go. And I'm going to go up with you and then show you how to fix this at the top and do another increase. So we're just going to do the same thing as before. I'm coming out of here. I'm going to pick up 11-0 and go through the next sticking out. Same thing as what we've been doing. Just like that. There we go. And if for some reason your accent bead at the top is switched around, you have your accent on the outside, what we're going to do, we're just going to slide that over. We're going to pick up our bead. We're just going to hold it in place. So I'm coming out of here. I'm now going to go through that 11-0 Delicate. Remember how my accent bead was sitting on the outside? I just turned it around. I'm just going to hold it in place and go through the 11-0 Delica instead to make sure it sits correctly. And once I go through the 11-0 Delica, it's going to stay. That's why you don't have to worry too much if it doesn't sit perfectly when you're going down. Alright, so let's go ahead and do one more add-on. We're going to do our increase and turn around. So I'm going to pick up 11-0 Delica, 11-0 round accent bead, and 11-0 Delica. I'm going to slide those down my thread, just like that. And this, I'm going to go through the first 11-0 Delica that I added right here. I don't worry about holding it in place at the very beginning, but if I can, I try to hold it as close to the base. But if for some reason it kind of sits kind of like this, what I like to do is I just like to, you know, do a little tug at the top, 2 beads, like that. Alright, and then I like to just kind of hold everything in place towards the bottom and do a little tug. There we go. And again, things don't have to sit perfectly because we'll fix that when we come back up. So go ahead and go all the way down again. Do your decrease right here and turn around. And then go back up and do your increase. And you want to do a total, so you have 11 accent beads at the top and 11 accent beads at the bottom. Once you have 9 both on top and bottom, meet me back here and I'll show you the next step that we're going to be doing. Okay? Hi everyone, so I have a total of 9 accent beads at the bottom and 9 accent beads at the top. And as you can see, I just added that last one at the very, very top. So what I'm going to do, let me just get a little closer. There we go. Is we're going to finish off the end here. We're not going to be adding any more accent beads. So if you, for this side, we will for the other side. So what we're going to do to finish off this side is we're just going to go down, and we're not going to do a decrease either. So just, there we go. There we go. Alright, so I'm coming out of here. I pick up 11 Delica, and then I'm going to go through the next 11 Delica, just like we did previously. Hi, Trouble. Yeah. My little one is talking to me. She wants nothing but treats. There we go. And don't worry, we'll be coming back up, so we'll be able to fix that top as well. There we go. So if it does turn around, not a big deal. Alright. And we're just going to go all the way down. And the spot where we normally do our turnaround, we're going to go ahead and just put a Delica there. So I'm going down. And this is the spot where you would normally add your accent bead and your Delica and turn around. But what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and add a Delica. Go through the neck sticking out. And if you want, let's go ahead and reinforce that accent bead at this point. So we're just going to go through that accent bead. And then we're going to go up. And I'm just going to weave my way through. And what I want to do is I want to be coming out of this bead. And I want to be going in this direction. So I'm just going to weave my way through until I do. It doesn't matter what path you do it in, as long as you get there. So I'm just going to weave my way around. There we go. And there. And now I'm just going to go up, and at this point I'm not going to do an increase at all. I'm just going to go up and make sure my beads are sitting correctly. So I'm going to go up here, and this will help strengthen your structure of your Russian leaf. There we go. There we go. Now I'm just going to turn the top around, hold things in place, make sure that my Delica is sticking out and my accent bead is sticking in. Then I'm going to go through that last 11 Delica. There we go. So you'll go down once more, turn around, and go up once more without a decrease or increase. Then meet me back here and go ahead and remove your stop bead, and we'll go ahead and get started on the opposite side, okay? So we are going to do the exact same thing on this side that we did on that side. We already have our center in place, okay? And remember that very first row going up, we did not add on, we did not do an increase, so we're not going to do an increase here either. So I have my thread coming out of here, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick up 11 Delica and go through the sticking out 11 Delicas. There we go. Get a little closer. There. There we go. And Again, I'm picking up 11-0 Delica, going through that sticking out 11-0 Delica. There we go. And picking up 11-0 Delica, going through that sticking out 11-0 Delica. There we go. Now we have one more we'll be adding. So we'll pick up 11-0 Delica, go through the next sticking out 11-0 Delica. There we go, just like that. There. And here, where we have one more, this is where we're going to do our turnaround. So we'll pick up an accent bead and 11-0 Delica, and then go through that first sticking out 11-0 Delica. Now we'll do the increase like normal. So I'll show that to you one more time. And so let's go ahead, pick up 11-0 Delica, go through the sticking out. Oops, I gotta pick this up. There we go. And this is the same that we did on the opposite side. There we go. There we go. Picking up another 11-0 Delica, going through the sticking out. Picking up 11-0 Delica, going through the sticking out. There we go. Now we do our increase just like we did with the other side. So we'll do 11-0 Delica, 11-0 round, 11-0 Delica. Slide those beads down. There we go. Go through the 11-0 Delica. Whoops. And by the way, I just flipped this so that it's my V is in the same direction. It's just what was natural to me. And I'm just going to slide those beads down. Trying to keep the Delica that I went through at the very base. Make sure they sit correctly if possible. There we go. And if for some reason my accent bead was on the outside versus the inside like it should be, I would not panic because we know we can fix that when we return. So at this point, it's all the same as we were doing beforehand. So go ahead, and you want to do a total of 9 accent beads going up and 9 both at the top and the bottom, and start counting from the center just like we did before. So start with the very center bead. This is 1, 2, and here we have 1, 2. So do a total of 9 at the bottom going up and 9 at the top going up. Meet me back here and we'll finish off this side and then do the next step, okay? Alright, so if I were to count from the center and up, I'll have 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And same thing for the bottom. If I count from the center up, I have 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now I'm going to just finish up the side, and it's just like the way we did it on the opposite side. I'm not going to be adding any more accent beads, so I can go ahead and put those away. There we go. There. And what we're going to do is we're just going to do 2 more rows of Delicas. Alright, so let's go ahead and do those 2 rows of Delicas. So we're going to pick up So I'm coming out of here from the last increase that I just added. I'm coming out of here. I'm going to pick up a bead and go through the bead that's sticking out. There we go, just like that. Use my finger to help guide everything. And then I just keep on doing that all the way down, just like we did earlier on the opposite side. There we go. And don't worry if at the top, again, if it flips around. We'll fix that when we go back up. Sorry about that. Someone's talking outside. Alright, so here is where we normally would have done our decrease, but we're just going to pick up a 11-0 Delica and then weave around to turn around. So go ahead, pick up your 11-0 Delica. There we go. I'm just going to pick this up and do the beading. There we go. I'm going to go through the next sticking out, just like that. And then I'm just going to weave my way around to turn around. There we go. And it doesn't matter where you go, as long as you get to the right spot. And what we want is to be coming out of this bead right here, going in this direction. So I'm just going to, and you want to be careful that your thread doesn't get caught on anything. And mine is trying. There we go. And I want to go this way next. And then I want to go this way. There we go. Now we're going to pick up a few beads and make our way up. I'm just going to hold this as I do it. Again, same as we did before. Go. And then see how this is turned the wrong way? Not a big deal. We'll fix it. Put our finger underneath and put in our last bead for this side. There we go. All right, now we just need to put it all together. Oh, goodness gracious. Let's see how this works. I just had to bribe my little fur baby with some treats to give me a little bit more time to finish this. So what we're going to be doing now with our Russian leaf, now that we have both sides done, is we're going to connect that Russian leaf together at the top. And if you're going to be turning this into a pendant by adding a jump ring or a split ring, or if you are going to turn this into earrings, you can do a little cheat. Instead of doing it later, you can put on your, for example, your ear wire now. And that's what I'm going to do. So just a little FYI. If you're going to be using your Russian leaves for something else, you know, you can just attach it like you would normally. And come on, little one. I love you, but give me some time. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. I love you. let me just give her some more treats. I am all for bribing my little fur babies. Oh yeah, I hear ya. I hear you. Oh, she's taking advantage of the situation for sure. All right, so what we're going to do is we're done with our 11-0 Delicas and we're done with our 11-0 seed beads. So if you want, go ahead and put that away. And what we're going to do next is we're going to be adding just a couple of 15-0 Delicas. So go ahead and pick up 4 11-0 Delicas, 15-0s, and literally that will be all. So if you want to go ahead and put those away right away, you can. And what we're going to do is, come on, Izzy. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm coming out of this 11-0 Delica right over here. And let me get a little closer. There we go. Oh, come on, sweet pea. I love you. Yes, you cute. All right. There we go. All right, so I'm coming out of this 11-0 Delica. So it's the Delica right next to that last accent bead at the top. Coming out of there. I add 4 15-0 Delicas. I'm going to go ahead and just put on my ear wire and slide that down. And then I'm going to go to the opposite side here and go ahead and weave on down. And don't worry, we will be using that thread on the opposite side. There we go. And you want to decide which direction you want your Russian leaf to kind of curve. There we go. Since I have my ear wire a certain way, I want it to curve this direction. So it's sticking out. There we go. Let me just back up so you can see what I'm doing. There. So I kind of wanted it to curve this way. So I'm going to just kind of hold it so it kind of does its natural curve this way. And what I'm going to start off with is I'm going to start reinforcing that. But before I do, what you want to do is you just kind of, there we go. We go through again. There. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start reinforcing my Russian leaf. And what I like to do is I like to do the outer side first, then the center, and then I go through and do the inner part. And when I do the outer part, now it depends on what you're going to be using your Russian leaf. If you're just going to wear earrings, you don't necessarily have to reinforce these accent beads, but I'm going to go ahead and do so anyways. It doesn't hurt. And I wouldn't worry about, so I'm just going to weave my way down, and I'm just going to do the outer edges here to start off with. And you don't have to follow an exact pattern for the reinforcement. That can be completely up to you. But as you reinforce things, everything will just kind of naturally tighten up and take shape. And I do find that when you reinforce, it does help with the shape of your Russian leaf. Now there are going to be other things you can do as well. And I'll have that in the description as options if you want. With my Russian leaves, I kind of like them to not necessarily be stiffened. So per se. I like to just use thread, but it's all about preference. All right, so now we're coming up to the first accent bead. And I want to point something out, so I'm going to get a little closer here. So you see these two Delicas right above the accent bead. I'm going to do a special stitch that's going to create a little hug and pull them together. Whoops, let me go over here. So I'm going to do a little hug at right after I do this next stitch to pull these two right above the accent bead together, so that way there's not that little gap. There we go. So I'm going to go through my accent bead just for the initial reinforcement. Then I'm going to go up that accent bead right below it. Careful that my thread doesn't catch on anything. Then I'm going to go through the accent bead right next to it. And for those of you who have actually seen some of my other videos, when we've done the bezeling, a peyote bezel for a lot of our stones, you've seen me do this before. So then I'm just going to come through here. It creates a little hug, but then I'm going to go back through that bead that we initially did, right next to this not accent bead, but right next to this Delica. And if I used accent earlier, I apologize. The purple's the accent. The champagne gold is the Delicas. I might have used the wrong word, so I apologize. You know how it is. I'm so focused on other things. So when I do this, I'm going to be careful that my thread doesn't get caught on anything. So I'm going to make sure it doesn't, especially that accent bead. And you see how it just pulls it together? Again, just weave your way down. It doesn't matter the pathway you go, because we're just going to make sure we go through everything anyways. So I'm coming out of here now. So I want to turn around. Whoops. I start going in the correct direction again. So I'm just going to go down. Let's see here. I'm right here. I'm going to go down this bead here. You know, it doesn't really matter as long as you get down to where you want to be. There we go. And for the center of the reinforcement, I don't have any special way I do that. I just make sure I go through all the beads again. And I like to weave in and out when I do that in groups. So it doesn't matter how you do that, the center. But I will show you how I like to do this very outer edge, because we wanted to kind of help create the shape of the Russian leaf. So I will show you that after you've done everything. But let's do this one again. Let's do the next one here, on how I like to create that little hug. It looks like I may have, there we go. So I'm going to go up and reinforce the accent bead first. There we go. Again, you don't necessarily have to if you're just going to use these as earrings. But then I go into the Delica right below the accent bead. There we go. And then right back up the Delica up underneath the opposite side of the accent bead. So this Delica here. And then back through the original Leavenworth Delica that we were coming out of. And I just make my way all the way around with one side of the thread. I go all the way around. And then So go ahead and reinforce the edge all the way down with this thread here. Then, depending on how much thread you have, you have to maybe make some judgment here. But with the other thread, what I'm going to do, because it looks like I have plenty on both sides, is I'm going to reinforce the opposite edge with this thread. I'll go through that path in the back and go down the edge. And that would be this, reinforcing that as well. And I want to do the back here at least 3 times. So I'll take this thread and go through there, down the edge on that side. Then I'll use this thread here. This is just because of the amount of thread that I have on both. I have plenty. I'm going to use this thread after I do this edge to come up this direction and do the center. And I'm going to use this thread over here to go down this edge and up this center. And then I'm going to come back here, meet me back here. And what we'll do is we will finish off our reinforcement on the inner side, because I do one step first if I'm going to get the accent beads, and then I do something separate for to help create the shape and maintain the shape. And then meet me back here and we'll get all that done. All right, looking forward to you guys. Thank you. Right, I thought I'd show you a little bit how I've been reinforcing this leaf in the center. Again, with the center, I vary quite frequently on how I end up doing it. Each time it's a little different, but I thought I'd just show you how I'm doing it this time. So keep in mind, there's no right or wrong, okay? So don't fret yourself. Do what is most natural to you is what I probably would say. And so I've already reinforced the center on this side, and I'm still working on reinforcing the center on this side. So let me just get a little closer and show you what I've been doing. So I've kind of already reinforced all the way up to here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make my way up, and I'm just going to weave. I'm just going to take my time and I'm going to weave. And what I try to do when I do the center is I don't worry about the outer edges of the beads. I just try to make sure I get basically the width of the center. And generally speaking, I don't do more than just a couple of beads at a time, because that's when I make my mistakes. And then I'll go back. So now I went up, and now I'll just kind of make my way down. There we go. And again, I'm not going to worry about the edges. If I get a little bit of the edge, that's fine. I'm not, there is no one way of doing things. I'm just kind of making sure as much as possible to try to get through all the beads. And if you miss one, not the end of the world. This is a fairly strong stitch. Alright, so now I'm just going to go ahead and turn around and start going up. There we go. And just making sure I don't catch on anything. Making sure my thread doesn't catch on anything. I like to wear my readers. I got good eyesight, but we're dealing with small beads. And it doesn't hurt to have a little better view. There we go. So I just go up and down, back and forth down the center. Alright, now for the inner part, what we're going to do is first, what I like to do, and this is only if I'm going to be reinforcing the accent bead. If I'm not, then I skip this step and just do the inner part. But if we're reinforcing the accent bead, is I just come through down below it, I go up. So I'm coming out of this Delicas right next to it. I go up and I just create a little hug. There we go. And then I go back through, let me get a little closer, through that Delicas right next to that accent bead. There we go. Let me do that one more time. And then what I do for weaving in between is I just weave along which will naturally bring me to the Delica right next to the next accent bead. So I just weave along the side of the inner side. Okay? Nothing too complicated there. And then I go back. So I'm coming out of this 11-0 Delica right next to my accent bead. So I'm coming out of here. I'm going to go through my accent bead. And I'm just going to create that little hug that we've done before. And then I go right back through that 11-0 Delica next to the accent bead. And then I just maneuver my way to my 11-0 Delicas. Just like that. And I actually use this, the same thread that I do this side on. I just go all the way up again. And then I take the other thread, and I'll show you what I'll do with the other thread. And this all depends on how much thread you have on each side. So you may have to adjust. Not the end of the world. Let me just thread that needle here. There we go. And then once I have the accent beads all reinforced, what I like to do is I just like to go through just along the side of the accent bead. So I just go through those beads there and pull and bring them in a little closer. And I just go all the way around. So I'm coming out of here. I'm going through, and I usually do like 2 or 3 at a time. So just like here, and I just do the inner 11-0 Delicas all the way around. And depending on how much thread I have, I may go around another time. As long as I have room in those beads and I have enough thread. Okay? All right, everybody. Looks nice, and I hope you enjoy your Russian leaves. Thank you so much for watching this video. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Take care, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you soon.